Hello, my name is Robert Capuccio. I am the Director of Coaching, yeah, that's it, for the Institute of Motion. We are going to be diving into our bowl of questions. All right, so let's see what we got. We'll just pick one from the top. How do I exercise and not feel tired and sore the next day? Now, does exercise produce exhaustion and soreness? Yes, it can. It's a matter of engaging in the behavior patterns that generate the habits, that generate the automated behaviors in our daily life that support who we are and who we want to be. So sometimes if soreness is a concern, pull back on the level of intensity. Don't push yourself so hard in the beginning, because what you're trying to do is engage in a habit. Once you have that habit pattern of exercising 3-4 times every single week in your life, then you can decide how to build on it. And a lot of the concerns that you have on day one are not going to be the concerns that you have on day 101. The point is to get going. And if you have to pull back on your commitments, it's okay, because it's like climbing a mountain. You know, you don't have to be great at it to get going, but you're going to have to get going to get great. Maybe mountain climbing is not such a great example, because if you're not great at it, you could die. So forget I mentioned that, but just get going and establish the pattern. I'm going to do this slowly, just for dramatic effect. Does exercise increase my height? This is great. Technically, the short answer to that is no. Relatively speaking, maybe. But let me talk to you about postural corrective exercise. By realigning our postures, we can appear to be taller when we walk around, and we can also increase other people's perception of us, as well as our own internal feeling of confidence. Think of aligning your spine like a kite, where you're really tall and you're wide at the same time. Not only did that increase levels of testosterone, but it increased levels of stress hormones in the body, which means people were smarter, they were sharper, they were quicker, more creative, and they were more assertive and confident. By changing how we carry ourselves, we can improve how we frame our levels of confidence and how we approach the world and how the world responds to us. And oh, by the way, when people assess us as having a high level of confidence, they also attribute that to a higher level of competence. Is tracking my progress impactful on my training effectiveness? Of course it is. The question is, what are you tracking? There are two types of results. One is objective and the other is subjective. So when you're taking a look at objective metrics, these are things like losing a couple of percentage of body fat, going down a dress size, also certain health metrics such as blood pressure, cholesterol, things like that. And those are very important, because if you have a goal, the only way to be sure if the programming methodology you're implementing is effective is it producing the objective outcomes that you expected in the beginning. But the second thing that people need to measure, because it is a behavioral driver, which is critical, is subjective metrics. These are things based on how you're feeling. These are behavioral metrics, such as, am I keeping to my commitments? Am I going to the gym 3 days a week like I said I would? And a lot of times in the early phases of change, these are not only motivating, but it increases something called self-efficacy. And self-efficacy is your inward belief in your ability to initiate and perpetuate a series of behaviors that are in line with the outcome that you most desire. So yes, you want to look at objective or outcome-based measures, but you also want to look at behavioral measures along the way. A lot of times people look at what they want to achieve without examining the why. When behaviors and values align, great things are achieved. Shakespeare, in his 116th sonnet, said that, "Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not that which alters when the alteration finds, or bends with the remover to be removed. Oh no, it is an ever-fixed mark that looks upon tempests and is not shaken." And what he means is that when you find out what you love enough, your resilience, your dedication, your commitment will be unfailing. It will be resolute. So identify not only what you want to achieve, but what is it that you value most or love the most that the achievement of your goals would support. So what is it? And sometimes who is it that would also benefit greatly from you being the best version of yourself? Aside from these questions, we want to hear your specific questions. So if there's something on your mind that you really want to have discussed or answered, write your questions in, and who knows, maybe they'll be answered on the next episode.